and welcome back to my channel, Brandy Powell's How To. So today I'm going to be talking about something I've experienced it 3 times now. Some of you guys have experienced it before and some of you guys not at all. And those of you who have not experienced it at all, really consider yourself lucky, because now it's the midst of exam season. I thought it'd be a good topic to talk about and let you guys know how I coped with dealing this. And more or less the topic of anxiety now. And a lot of you guys are frantically trying to get that last minute revision in or do your dissertation. But the myths that can just kind of throw that all in a bin is anxiety, depression, panic attacks. And I'm someone who's experienced that so many times now, to the point where I've actually learned how to adjust. I've learned where my mistakes are previously, where I knew not for that to happen again completely, but to lessen my chances of putting myself in a situation where I'm going to have panic attacks or anxiety. So if I look over to the dictionary, the definition of anxiety is the feeling of worrying, nervousness, or unease about something with uncertain outcome. So yeah, I guess end of the day, it's natural as humans for us to feel nervous or anxious about something in the correct portion. And with myself, I've had over anxiety, like panic attacks over something that's really, end of the day, quite small, and I'm much bigger than it end of the day. But you have to be honest with yourself. That last minute revision that you might be trying to pack in, or back in energy drinks, and for you to see a situation become over anxious about it, you have to really ask yourself, have I given myself enough revision time? With myself, I actually had a situation where I did give myself enough revision time. However, I still found myself having anxiety attack, panic attacks. So I was just like, what is really going on here? It took me actually a long time to realise I was suffering from panic attacks. I think it was the second time it happened. I actually went to go tell my mum, and she was like, something's not right, you know, being OTT. She's like, something's not right, you know. So I go to the GP. GP goes, you're actually suffering from anxiety. And it's like, you've actually just had a panic attack, because I was literally out of breath, felt like I couldn't breathe. And yeah, I think if I hadn't gone to my mum, I think I would have been going through this for quite a while and not realising it was actually something not as serious, but a bit more serious than I actually anticipated, thinking it will just go away, because sometimes it doesn't go away. And that's the thing, you actually need to find yourself ways to deal with it and find ways that's going to make yourself less likely to fall into a panic attack. For some people, they actually might not know what the symptoms are for a panic attack. So these symptoms can be like a racing heart rate, feeling weak, faint or dizzy, tingling or numbness in the hands or fingers, sense of terror or death or doom, feeling sweaty or having cold chills, chest pain, breathing difficulties, and feeling lost out of control. So most of the symptoms I've just mentioned now, I've experienced most of them. Yeah, I've experienced most of them. The clammy and the sweaty hands is, for me, I've identified the first indication I am feeling really anxious or I'm about to have a panic attack. And yeah, the moment I spot that my hands are getting really tingly, that's why I say to myself, okay, let's go into the mindfulness. So guys, this video is going to go through a few quick tips in terms of how I dealt with anxiety. And it may not work for you, but it may work with some of you guys out there. So tip number 1 is coffee, energy drinks, what else are there? Anything with too much sugar, Coke, Pepsi, yeah, the whole lot of that whole lot of them. We back them during the exam period like no other. Boost, Red Bull, like they're all corporates. I think for myself personally, the first mistake I ever made was in college, and I was backing Boost, like 3 bottles a day of backing Boost. And I was like, yep, it's going to get me through my art exam. Yep, it's going to get me through my science exam. And it was like, I can't sleep now. It literally was like, I can't sleep. And I remember lying on my bed and my heart was just doing 100 miles per hour. And I actually found myself in A&E because of that. I think a lot of the time we don't actually realise how much sugar are in these drinks. Now, some of the dangers of backing too much energy drinks, the toll it's putting on your heart. You're literally making your body overwork. And at the end of the day, you're just literally sitting in an exam. What are you doing backing 3 bottles of Red Bull a day, 3 bottles of Boost? What was I doing? I don't even know. But that is actually the moral of the story for me, was keep away from the energy drinks. My second tip is you need to give yourself adequate time. That last minute revision is not going to always work. It might have worked during your GCSEs, it might have worked maybe your ASs, but your A2s, that might be the year your body's like, nope, you know, you've given me too much work to do, I'm just going to freak out. And that panic attack that's going to hit you, trust me, you will literally not know what to do with yourself. You literally think you are having a heart attack. I remember I experienced like a mini panic attack when I was in college in the library, and I was with my friends, all bantering away, and I just went quiet, but no one spotted it, and all I could feel was my heart just going, sitting there like thinking, not now, not right here. But it's true, last minute revision does not help. You're not going to really absorb much of that information as you think you are. And at the end of the day, you're putting your mind through so much stress. So don't be surprised when the exam comes, you look at the exam book and you're like, have an anxiety attack or your panic attack. Because you've literally put yourself in a situation you did not need to do. Now, if you're someone like me and you know already in advance you've experienced panic attacks, anxiety attacks, you already know, okay, beginning of terms here, let me pre-plan my revision, my this, my that. Let me just plan it ahead of time so I'm not in a situation where it's last minute and I'm like freaking out because I've planned ahead. So just by doing that, you're just going to give yourself that advantage to be like, okay, there's less likely of a probability now I'm going to have an anxiety attack. And that's what you basically want to do. You want to make the probability as low as possible for it emerging. The third tip actually was, I discovered this like in my third year of uni, and I realized it really worked for me, especially when a panic attack was about to happen or I was starting to feel really anxious, my palm was getting really sweaty. I would literally turn on classic FM on my phone when I was in the library or my room just revising, and it would really help me calm down. A funny one I actually realised helped me was like R&B, so really slow tempoed R&B. I'm a big fan of Donald Jones anyways, but a lot of his songs are quite soothing for me. I really like his voice, so yeah, I would listen to a lot of that. So I'd be in the library with sweaty palms listening to Donald Jones as my healing tool, which is crazy, but yeah, that's what I literally would do, and it worked for me. So those of you maybe during your exam period, try and avoid listening to really high tempo, loud music, really you know, for me personally, rap music doesn't really help, especially when I'm stressed and I'm really tight. I feel like it doesn't ease me. So yeah, definitely give slow music a go and see how that helps for you. My fourth tip is, I think it's more or less like common sense, really just going out for a walk, taking time out. Like, even if I had the exam tomorrow and it's 1 o'clock in the morning, I realise I'm having a huge panic attack or I'm feeling really anxious and it's not going away. And when you feel anxious, you realise you cannot focus on anything. Your mind is literally rushing a million like miles per hour. Like, there's nothing you can possibly do at that point to really force yourself to revise. So yeah, common sense to me was literally like go for a walk if it's still outside, or literally walk around the library. I literally felt like fresh air was the best thing. Like, literally having fresh air helped me so much. If I was at home, I'd go for a drive. I'll literally go find like an area which is quite bushy, so that has like a lot of green, and I'll literally put my windows down and listen to like really nice soothing music and just go for a drive for like an hour. It literally just make me have that moment to like rethink, rejuvenate my mind and reconsider, why am I really panicking? Like, why am I freaking out so much? Like, is this even making any sense? And talk to myself, literally have a conversation with myself in the car, and that would really help. And coming off the back of that, another thing I used to do as well was like have a long shower and just literally sit in the shower and just talk to myself and like ease myself down. Like, that definitely did help. Just be there for like a good amount of time and put candles in my room, so I come out the shower I just feel a bit more like there's a good vibe, there's a good aura in my room, and that would really calm me down. It would really help with the sweaty palms and overthinking. That was, for me, a really good tip. So tip number 5, a lot of people don't realise they should do this, but actually talking to someone. Like, I remember when I had graduated, a friend of mine who was in her 3rd year and was doing her dissertation last minute, literally 3 days or a week before she was actually having symptoms of like panic attacks, very mild, and anxiety, and she didn't know what they were until afterwards when she had described it to me. I was like, that's anxiety, and she's like, oh, I didn't know that. So yeah, really talking to someone and really know that the symptoms you're actually experiencing are actually something. They're not your mind going crazy, like you're actually experiencing something, and identify the fact that you're having anxiety. Try and avoid that situation by all means. Like, literally try and don't put yourself there, because it's not going to help. You're going to realise the time that you could have used revising, you may be at work, and then when it comes to revising, you're just having panic attacks. Now, that logic might not apply for everyone, but there may be 1 or 2 people out there thinking, I can't deal with stress, why am I going to get a job? And if you don't need the money, it's not worth it. You're going to be having moolah in your bank account, and you're too stressed to even study for your own exams. Like, doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But even on the back of that, I remember my 3rd year of uni, and I decided not to work because I was like, I'm going to live a stress-free life. I'm going to mind my own business. It's just about me and, you know, trying to get my first class or my 2-1, whatever. And yeah, long story short, submit my dissertation. I remember like days leading up to it, start getting anxiety symptoms. I was like, oh, it will go away. It's probably because it's been like, you know, all bottled up. So I thought it would go away by itself. And days were going past, it was getting worse. And in a nutshell, I ended up in hospital because I just ended up calling NHS 111 and they're like, what's your problem? And I'm like, well, I've got palpitation. And they're like, have you seen your GP? Have you done this? Have you done that? And I'm like, it's been 3 days. She goes, it's been 3 days. I urgently recommend you go to your A&E. I went there. I've never been seen so quickly in my life for A&E. Like, so I just moved past everyone. Like, it was, that's how I knew it was serious. And yeah, like, that's how serious it can go for some people. And it's a case where you need to address it quite early on and find ways that you can go ahead and manage with it. In the midst of everything I've actually recommended, there's actually multiple ways you can help yourself during your exam period to kind of reduce your anxiety and your panic attacks. So other things can include things such as closing your eyes and meditating, joining yoga classes, practicing mindfulness. So this is actually making yourself consciously aware of your thoughts and the fact that you're overthinking. Taking a deep breath, so using the bag method. So usually you see this associated with a brown bag, which is breathing in and out really slowly, just trying to put yourself back together, calm your heart rate, take some deep breaths, and actually just take a break for a moment and really think about everything. I find the bag method really does help. Another thing you can actually do is picture yourself in a happy place. So just close your eyes and just think about maybe a holiday you've planned. Or even so, go through some old pictures where you're in a really good place. Maybe you're on holiday or maybe out with some friends. Just go through your photo album. You actually might be surprised of what you come across. Use muscle relaxing techniques. So like I said, yoga. You can have a soak in the bathtub and just give yourself the chance to unwind. Now, unfortunately, none of these methods work for you, nothing at all, and you find yourself the panic attacks are getting out of control. The best thing for you to actually do is go ahead and see your GP, because there is medication you can actually get if it's a thing where it's out of control, or you can actually go ahead and see a psychologist for cases where you actually can't identify where exactly or what's triggering your panic attack. Dealing with those different types of symptoms, you'll realise that some bother you more than others. Me getting the sweaty palms don't really bother me as much, but once I get the palpitation and the dizziness, that's when I really start to even panic even more. So it's really good to understand what your trigger points are, and as well talk to someone. It's always good to talk to someone when you start feeling these symptoms and start to find out what actually works for you, what works best in terms of easing your anxiety, easing your panic attacks around the exam period as well. So with the symptoms I've just said, some of you guys might experience some of them, some of you guys might experience all of them like myself, but at the end of the day, a symptom is a symptom. It may be related to something else, it might not relate to anxiety or panic attack, but it's always good to talk to someone, always good to speak to your GP. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to get everybody to subscribe and stay tuned.